Hello everybody, my name is Nathan, and I am the man with a cartoon obsession. Let me tell you something about us anime fans. We all have at least one series that we like, but are either confused or ashamed as to why. I'm going to share some of mine with you all. Before we get into that though, I would greatly appreciate it if you could take just a second to like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more animation related content. The only criteria for this list is the anime has to make me question why I like it for one reason or another. Some of these picks may be controversial, but remember that these are my picks. If you have some anime that you question why you like them, or guilty pleasures if you want to use that term, let me know what they are in the comments. I don't call these guilty pleasures because I don't feel guilty for liking shows. It's more like questionable decisions are made in these shows that can make my feelings on them waver. Also, keep in mind that this will just be a list, and there won't be any rankings. Finally, I'll throw in a spoiler alert just in case. With all that out of the way, let's get into my list of 5 anime that make me ask, why do I like this? Domestic Girlfriend. I've reviewed this series on the channel before, and my thoughts are mostly the same, but I have softened on the show a little more since my review. If you haven't seen my review, of course, watch it. But if you're not familiar with the show, it's a love triangle between Natsuo Fuji, his teacher Hina Tachibana, and his one-night stand as well as Hina's younger sister, Rui Tachibana. The icing on the cake is that Natsuo's father marries Hina's and Rui's mother, so they become step-siblings, making this an incest anime. Granted, they aren't related by blood, but it's still a little weird. I'm still not completely on board with that aspect, and plus all 3 of them make some pretty stupid decisions which end up either hurting themselves or each other. However, this show does a lot right too. The characters are generally interesting and they're fleshed out well, as are their relationships for better or worse. Hina and Natsuo, while being the weaker links in the love triangle in my opinion, still serve their purpose, and their arc is the biggest one in the show. Rui and Natsuo's arc isn't focused on as much, but it still gets plenty of time to develop. The biggest positive this show has to offer is that it's never boring. It's engaging every second with great comedic scenes, tense dramatic moments, and even some rather uncomfortable situations. Through it all, the show never gets dull. It has a lot of problems, and there are a lot of moments that cause me to yell at the screen to no avail, but each time I watch Domestic Girlfriend, I end up liking it more. It's a trashy anime, but it's what I like to call quality trash.
You know that you can't go out with your stepbrother! Do you really think that it's okay to do that with him?
No, but it's not like we're related by blood.
Candy Boy. Nonchalant talk of a certain twin sisters in daily life. So, this is another incest anime. Hold on, let me explain. I don't want to make it seem like I enjoy incest as a concept because, believe me, there are plenty of incestuous relationships in anime that I don't like at all. However, Candy Boy is interesting. It's a short ONA series that shows the relationship between fraternal twin sisters Kanade and Yukino Sakurai. And yes, since they're twins, they're obviously biological siblings. I'm not crazy about that, but honestly, this anime is inoffensive. In fact, I think it's sweet and wholesome. Yes, the relationship between the 2 sisters is strange. They do talk about getting married, they show affection for each other constantly, and there are a couple other characters that don't really help matters. On the other hand, while I know they're in a romantic relationship, it also feels like they're just very close sisters who want to make each other happy. The relationship feels like it comes from a good place, and the anime never makes it feel truly disgusting. There are a few suggestive scenes, but we never see them actually have sex or even anything remotely close to that. Their relationship also develops a lot, with them even questioning if dating is the right thing to do. Whether it's in a romantic sense or just because they're close siblings, it's clear that Kanade and Yukino care deeply about each other. They're nice to each other, they make sacrifices for one another, and just seeing how well they work together softens the blow a little bit when you remember they're sisters. Whatever your thoughts on incest anime are, I will say that this is one of the better ones out there. There are so many that are abhorrent, so it's nice to see one that's harmless and touching. Also, this is the last incest anime I'll talk about in this video, I promise. Anonymous Noise. Melodrama can destroy a good show instantly and make a bad show completely unbearable. Anonymous Noise is filled to the brim with delicious melodrama. It's another show that involves a love triangle, but this one revolves around music. Nino Arisugawa likes her childhood friend Momo Sakaki, whom she used to sing with all the time when they were kids. After they're separated, she goes to the beach and sings every day, eagerly awaiting the chance to see him again. Kanade Yuzuriha meets her at the beach one day, and as time goes on, he catches feelings for her. She ends up becoming the singer of his band, In No Hurry to Shout. Through all this, Nino ends up meeting Momo again after 6 years, and that's where the love triangle comes in. The love triangle is a mess, and the main characters aren't bad, but they all have major flaws. Nino never listens to anybody, even when they're trying to tell her something important. Momo can't get over himself and is always in a bad mood, lashing out at people. As for Kanade, he just doesn't have a spine. He lets himself get pushed aside or walked all over. At least with the guys, I can understand why they are the way they are, due to issues they have with their parents. Nino, on the other hand, I have no idea why she refuses to listen. There's more one-sided romance between a couple side characters, but it's barely even worth mentioning. Everyone in this show constantly feels sorry for themselves. It's always, woe is me, woe is me. It gets annoying after a while. That being said, I still found myself getting invested in the story. It never got aggravating enough to turn me away from it. On top of that, the music in the show is excellent. There's a lot of focus on the music, almost as much as the melodrama, so that saves the show for me. I also like the character designs, even though these characters have giant eyes that stare into my soul. Finally, the characters are beyond flawed, but they still have enjoyable interactions with one another, and enough of them have likable qualities that salvage them. Anonymous Noise isn't an easy sell, but even if you don't check the show itself out, at least check out some of the killer music. Mother of the Goddess's Dormitory. When the first frame of an anime gives you a face full of tig-old biddies, you know you're in for a wild ride. Mother of the Goddess's Dormitory is a harem anime that follows Koshi Nagumo, whose father abandons him when their house burns down. He's on his own for a bit, but he's taken in by a college student. One thing leads to another, and Koshi becomes the dorm mother for an all-female college dorm. All of the dorm's residents are nuts, and they have a thing for Koshi. That's typical for a harem, I know, but here's the thing. Koshi is 12 years old, and he's in a harem with college-age women. His childhood friend, who's also 12, is a part of the harem too, which just makes the situation even weirder. The whole thing makes me uncomfortable sometimes, especially when we see suggestive or lewd scenes between Koshi and any of the residents, and there are plenty of those. This show has fan service in abundance, and to be honest, it's too much for me. I can't even showcase some of the scenes that made me turn away from the screen, because YouTube wouldn't like that. The show's saving grace is its entertaining cast of characters. I said all of the dorm's residents are nuts, and they are, but they're still likable and fun. Same with Koshi and his childhood friend I mentioned earlier, Sateya. They're all likable and fun. Sure, they all have their quirks, which makes for some questionable and at times inexcusable scenes, but it also leads to a lot of humor. Plus, even though some characters are romantically attracted to Koshi, the show doesn't go overboard with that too much. There are also some sweet moments between those characters. The show is balanced enough and reserved enough to where it doesn't come off as creepy. It's still kind of wrong, but the team at least tried to make this show enjoyable, and for the most part, I'd say they were successful.
Huh?
Mysterious Girlfriend X. Up to this point, I've been talking about anime that I thought I was going to hate within the first couple of episodes, but they ended up growing on me. This one, however, is a show I felt like I was going to love and could love, but there's something holding it back. This is a high school romance between Akira Tsubaki, a guy who knows nothing about girls, and the new transfer student, Mikoto Urabe, who's quiet, mysterious, and always keeps a pair of scissors in her panties when she's ready to cut a bitch. Her technique with those scissors is impeccable too, if I may say so. Anyway, the relationship itself is pretty innocent. They're both learning the ropes of dating, so there are a lot of awkward moments, but I like that. It shows that their relationship is growing and they're becoming closer. It doesn't seem too bad on the surface, but I forgot to mention one little detail. They swap spit a lot. And I don't mean kissing. I mean Urabe sticks her finger in her mouth, drools on it, then sticks the drool in Tsubaki's mouth. At first, I thought it was just some strange tactic that Uribe used to make Tsubaki more comfortable with her, but no. That's this couple's version of kissing, and it's nasty. Sure, kissing is the exchange of two people's saliva as well, but at least you can't see the actual swapping of spit. Here, they glorify it by showing the whole process over and over again. Not to mention the saliva's taste is described, and other characters start trying this, and it's just gross. It also creates a psychic link between the two, which is just bizarre. This is one way to make your romance series stand out amongst the rest, but I legitimately almost threw up while watching this show. I get grossed out by drool and spit, so it wasn't easy for me to stomach that part of this series. Otherwise, I think Uribe is a fantastic character, and I love watching every other aspect of her relationship with Tsubaki. It's as sweet as Tsubaki says Uribe's drool is. Oh god, what am I doing with my life? Anyway, this is a good romance show. I want to call it a great one, but I just can't get past the disgusting drool scenes. They don't get easier for me to watch as they go on either, but they don't completely ruin the show for me. I could do without those scenes, but I still think Mysterious Girlfriend X is worth watching.
Tsubaki-kun, you're such a little boy!
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you have any other cartoons, anime, or other animated works that you want me to talk about in the future, please let me know. After all, it's not my channel, it's our channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to check out my social media pages, audition for an outro, and join the official Cartoon Obsession Discord, the links for all of which are in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
I'm Izuku Midoriya, and thank you for watching Cartoon Obsession. Go beyond! Plus Ultra!